News in the world of Valheim today, and quite a few new little tidbits for us to see. Valheim released its newest Steam blog update after having their annual holiday, as is standard in Sweden every summer. So now they're back at their desks and already hard at work. They mentioned that they're aware that there was an unfortunate issue with crashing over the past month, and they've been working on a fix for this. They mentioned that there is a guide on how to restore most recent working world save after a crash that's a link to their Valheim Reddit. And Jace Mars said on Twitter that the next patch will have automatic backups, so hopefully this won't happen again. My guess is that this is something they're going to want to get out quickly, so we may be seeing a patch for this particular thing sooner than later. And sometimes they like to throw extra little things in, so maybe we'll get a couple little gifts along with it. Of course, they also talk about working on the MISTLANDS and how it's going to be quite a chunky update. This is about the third or fourth time that I've heard one of the devs say that this is going to be a big update, which they've kind of shied away from saying before, so I think that means that it's going to be a really big update. Monty did answer a question on Twitter recently, saying that just like other biomes, the Mistlands will have its own boss and plenty of new enemies, all of which I'm sure we have not seen yet. And Devoid has figured out how to add that extra boss stone into the spawn even in existing worlds, so we don't have to worry about that getting overwritten. And Smitha has made the comment too that when it comes out, you will see why this took so long to do. Of course, they say there's a lot of things that they haven't shown yet, and I'm sure they won't show us everything in advance, but naturally it will have new resources, which also means new recipes. The other week, for example, one of our 3D artists did a lot of work on the food for the biome. The 3D artists they're talking about there is Lisa. They say the balancing still needs some work, but the menu is mostly set, and ask us to guess what these foods might be. We have several different options here to choose from. Some kind of green soup or mush. I don't want to get your hopes up, but this kind of looks like an omelet to me. And this bowl definitely has some onions on top. If we look closely at the food that's at the top of the Steam blog, you can clearly see the onions on top more clearly from that angle. Maybe some kind of French onion soup that's not French? What do you think these are? Let me know in the comments down below what your guess is. Definitely thinking this one on the platter looks like it comes from a tick. Ugh. Then they talk about how earlier in the summer they showed us this little teaser of things that we'll be able to build in the Mistlands with the black marble. So they decided to show us a little bit more of it. The first thing that's obvious to me is the more angled roofs. Now Grimcore had told me a while back that he had already designed some roofs that were at a more steep angle. Was it 72 degrees? I'm not positive. I might need to check again on what number he actually said. But that it would help us to get more pointed roofs, and so he was waiting for the right time to release pieces like that, and it looks to me like Mistlands is going to be the right time. So if we zoom in a bit, it looks like these two at the top are kind of like the flat stone pieces that we have now. I think there's a seam in the middle here. These are two of them put together. Then we have these kind of triangle angled pieces on the sides and tall thin rectangles in the middle. Of course, we have the stairs going up to the door. That looks like that's going to be very similar to the stone stairs that we have now, but in black marble. And on the walls here, you can see the rectangle pieces are sideways, whereas above they're up and down. But something interesting too is look over here on this side of the picture. This is clearly another building over here, I think. But what is this? What is this round thing sticking out? It looks like some kind of a flat, round disc coming out from an arm. That's not something that I've seen before. I don't know what that is. What do y'all think that could be? Our build of the month is by The Friendly Gamer. This is an amazing gatehouse. Look at the water wheel in there. Friendly Gamer is a top-notch builder in Valheim, and he recently started streaming as well on YouTube, and he's currently working on a hobbit village. So I highly suggest that you check him out. Really nice guy. Some extra little tidbits of news that have come up here and there. Valheim shared this new picture with a different perspective of the Mistlands weapons we've shown off so far, which obviously means there's going to be more Mistlands weapons. This gives us a different angle of the bone bow, the two-handed sword, and the crossbow. I noticed in this picture that the bone bow doesn't look as glowy as it did before. I don't know if that's just the lighting in this picture or they've made it less glowy overall. But this does also confirm that the crossbow will be coming out from Mistlands, not the Plains, even though it looks like it's made with black metal, as they clarified that it's one of those items where you get the materials for it way before you have the technology or crafting station to make it. This is the concept art of the forge, crafting station, and water cooler. So I'm thinking that's what we're going to need to be able to make that crossbow. This video is sponsored by HostEZ. HostEZ provides dedicated server hosting with the right amount of high quality hardware and bandwidth that you need for a smooth experience. See the link and discount code below to get your server set up and start playing with your friends right away. We also got this picture from Grimcore showing a little peek of the Mistlands, but he put something a little sneaky in here. If we zoom in to this little part right here in the middle, there's a little person here holding a giant hammer. And this hammer is not the same as any of the hammers that we currently have in the game. It's different than the Stagbreaker, and it's much bigger than the Iron Sledge. So that's definitely something new in the Mistlands that's not in game currently. But also what's really curious about this is look at the scale of this thing. Like, this guy is itty bitty compared to this tree. What does this mean? Does this mean that these trees are going to be so incredibly massive sometimes that it makes us look that tiny? Or since Grimm is the lead artist, did he just take this guy and shrink him down really tiny, wondering if we'd find him? I would not put that past Grimcore. A question was asked about this stone and whether it would be mineable, so Grimm showed that yes, it is designed in a way to break apart. He says, "We like sticking to what you see you can destroy. We don't have it everywhere, but almost. I'm hoping that it's like the pillars in the plane, that you can mine underneath it and the whole thing will come crashing down." Monty also mentioned that the Yaglu thing will automatically be replaced with the actual item that you're going to need for the Mistlands biome. So there's nothing that you'll need to do to make that workable. We also know that Jonathan Smars has been working on a little side project of updating the fishing system and that we're going to be able to use fish for trophies. I checked with him and it turns out that the fish spawner spots that are already in the game will stay there, but there will be more fish spawner spots available in the water, and they will spawn some other types that we don't currently have in game. So that'll be nice to add some variety. If you think this is some good info, please leave a like. It really helps the video spread to more people. And yes, the rumors are true, even though many people don't seem to know it yet. Iron Gate has hired 2 new developers. One seems to be part-time, and one hasn't come on board yet. Their names are Magnus and Chillstrand, and they'll be joining Grimcore, Lisa, and Solgviken, who work on graphics, models, and animations. A quick search shows some of Chillstrand's artwork, which is amazing, and I think will fit in really well with Valheim. So the big question on everybody's mind, when will Mistlands release? There's always a few people complaining about the game taking too long, the game is dead, the devs took all the money and ran. Let me assure you this is not the case. Valheim developers have a process that they're staying true to. Everything needs to go through Devoid's vision. This is his baby. He's the person that came up with the Valheim concept. And they do remain a small team. Adding too many people can actually slow down this process, as training takes time and meetings takes time and more ideas all take more time, and they risk losing the original vision of the game. Having said that, the devs have said multiple times that Mistlands will release this year. A long time ago, in their first AMA, HT said that making a full new biome takes 6 to 9 months, and Grimm noted on Twitter recently that they've been working on MISTLANDS for about 5 months. So this being a very large update, I wouldn't be surprised if it's not out until November, and yes, it will be going to public test branch first. Unlike a lot of early access games, they do a lot of testing and put out a quality product without leaving it so buggy for so long that it's unplayable. I think this is a blessing and a curse because some people feel like the quality of the game is so high that they expect them to be putting out updates as if it's a finished game, but it's not. It's still early access. It takes time to build all of these pieces. A lot more time than most people realize. But the devs are definitely still working on the game every day, making progress every day, despite some people getting upset about them taking a vacation, which made no sense to me. I'd love it if our country required people to take vacation. I think we'd all be in a happier place. So while we patiently wait for new content to come out, if you want more to do in Valheim in the meantime and some cool people to play with, consider joining my Happy Gamers server. There's a link in the description. Until next time, happy gaming! Remember to subscribe for all things Valheim.